Hello, well I'm used to a world of big beefy industrial sewing machines, but on my bench here I have a domestic machine and it's a fairly advanced computerized machine, and I'll just share with you in this little film a couple of things really. One is the buttonhole feature to show you how I can do that for nice buttonholes, and the other is, and what interests me, is free motion embroidery. So it can actually do it on leather. I've tried, it's got quite a heavy duty sort of jeans function on it, so it will manage very thin leather. But the free motion embroidery, it's called an Oekaki in Japan. The machine's a Toyota Oekaki, and Oekaki stands for drawing. So you can draw with it, and that's the free motion embroidery. So quite an interesting function. Get straight in, I'll show you the needle threader, because that also slightly tickled me as I was trying to thread a needle, and then we'll get straight in buttonholing and then free motion embroidery. So the needle threading is quite clever. You basically pull down this little lever here, you then just hook your thread underneath a little like hook, then you swing that round, you push your thread into another little light slot. So you can do this quite easily even in poor light, and then you slowly bring it back and up, and behind the needle it takes a little loop which is then enough to pull it through, and your needle's been threaded. I just thought that's quite clever. It's simple but does the job. Okay, buttonholing, I wanted just to show you, because again I was quite taken by buttonholing. I'll zoom out a bit. But essentially you use this special foot which clips on the machine. All the feet clip on and off the machine, and it does perfect buttonholes by computer. So I've got a button here. Let's pretend I want to do a buttonhole. So all I do, I take this special machine foot, and there's a little slidey thing. I just slide it to fit my button at the back of the foot. I then clip the foot onto the machine. So these are all like standard domestic machine feet. So you press a lever and they clip on and off, which again is quite a nice feature. It's funny because, as I say, because I use industrial machines a lot, it's quite interesting trying a new sort of domestic machine, and I am impressed. It's very light to pick up. So yeah, just literally clipping that foot on. I will get a bit of scrap fabric. Just got one of my leather rags I tend to use. You then pull down the little lever at the side here, and that acts like a stop. That little lever at the back there. And then you have to, on the control here, it's a little LED readout, you have to select one of the stitch patterns. So I'll just go for a standard square buttonhole, which I know is a 48. You put your foot down, you line this up where you want your buttonhole. I'm just doing a little tester to show you here. And then all you do, press your foot pedal, and away it goes. Now it does this like the outline of the buttonhole first, and then it fills over the whole buttonhole. I will zoom in. So now it's like reinforcing the edges of the buttonhole. It's not too noisy machine, it's very nice and light to lift around. And now it's just doing the ends and the other side. And you can do different styles of buttonholes. So you can do like rounded ends, bell ends, which all seems rather good. And there you are, a buttonhole is done. I'll lift up the foot and show it to you. So there you have it, one buttonhole. I've got my threads across it. I think you get the idea. I'll zoom out. And the idea then is you just cut with very delicate scissors or seam ripper the inside there, and you have a perfectly formed buttonhole. I think that's clever. If you've got a computerized machine, you're probably laughing at me at this point, thinking, Well, yeah, it's obvious it's a computerised machine, but if you haven't used one, but it's quite good. You can obviously change all the stitches up here, you can change the speed of sewing, you can change your stitch size, and it's all just done with presses of buttons. Now the other thing I wanted to quickly show you was what's called drawing with the machine, the Oekaki function. So I'm going to put an embroidery foot on it now, which I have to just unscrew and screw on another foot. So I've put this special embroidery, free motion embroidery foot on, and then I just press a button on the machine which puts it into the drawing mode. You can buy special loops to hold your work. I didn't have any of the right thickness, so I put my angle grinder on the edge and just took the edge down, so I think I can get it underneath now. I've only been experimenting with this machine briefly. Yeah, it does just about fit under. And the idea with this, you use the foot pedal, and the more you press the foot pedal, the more sort of like sideways movement of the needle. So the needle actually goes from side to side, and you can change the amount that it goes from side to side. You have to make a few little adjustments just to get everything roughly. It should be, I think I've got that right. So if I just try writing an H, for example, and that gets you a little H. Perhaps I'll zoom in a bit more. As I say, if you don't press the pedal much, and I just move it forward a bit, you get quite a thin sort of line. If I press hard, the needle goes a lot wider. Then I take my foot off the pedal, and it goes thin again. So it's quite clever. You can get, in effect, you can draw by having the needle going wider, narrower. You can fill in spaces, and you can obviously draw little pictures or do whatever. It does pierce thin leather, so I'm going to have a go with some embroidery threads, seeing if I can do a blue tit on leather, which would be entertaining. There are, needless to say, lots of other stitch patterns that the machine can do, and I've just been playing around. So there's an example or a selection. I think it's about 50 different stitch types. I've been adjusting a few clothes with it, doing a few repairs and things. Not had it long, so I'm really just getting familiar with it and seeing what it can and can't do. But definitely the drawing function, I think, could be quite good fun for a leather project. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's it for now. I just wanted to show you that machine, give you a brief overview, because I know I'm often sort of doing up old machines, and that's really for my sort of heavy duty leather work. But I thought, well, I'll share something which perhaps is a bit more modern, and then if you think about doing bag linings or things like that, it could be quite a useful kind of machine to have a think about. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next film.